Chair.
Yes, Braking.
I think we can start.
Mm.
Everyone is there. We are in the main boardroom, Peter boardroom, main boardroom. Yes.
We are starting this meeting today with a sad note because of the disaster which happened in KZN. We're paying solidarity to the two provinces, KZN as well as Western Cape, where hundreds of houses have been burned. Thanks to the president and his team for being proactive, as well as the leadership of the province in KZN. Your injury is our injury in the country. We believe God will assist us to move out from this situation. It's painful. We are still requesting that those who have got something must lay a hand to that particular province, using all means to assist. And our condolences to all families who have lost their loved ones. The number is too high. We're not happy about that. You are warmly welcome into this meeting. The purpose of the meeting is to get briefing from the department on the progress with organizational structure of the department, which is a matter which has been long overdue. Again, also to get a briefing from the agency Seda on their annual performance and budget plans of 2022 to 2023 financial year. Without any waste of time, I will move to item 2. You are warmly welcome. Roll call and apologies. Can you take us through, King?
Thank you, Chairperson. Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning, honorable members. Good morning, Chairperson of the board, Seda. Good morning, TG. Good morning, Honorable Minister. Both ministers from the Minister of Small Business Development and Minister of Department of Public Service and Administration. Good morning, the chairpersons of the board, CEOs and colleagues from Parliament and from the departments. Chairperson, what I have realized and admitted in the platform, it's you, Honorable Suela, Honorable Kruger, Honorable Tromelang, Honorable Mtenjane, Honorable April, Honorable Hendricks, Honorable Matulelo, Honorable Jacobs, and Honorable T. Villiers. I've received a note that Honorable Mieni will be joining in 15 minutes' time. And then I have the apology of Honorable Zumula, who is with the PC of Minerals and Energy, they are conducting oversight in Mossel Bay. And then I've also received an apology of late logging in of the Deputy Minister, who his office indicated that he was flying from KZN to Johannesburg. So he will join around 10:30 as soon as he lands. I had also received that the minister was in the first meeting, but she managed to come back and join this meeting. So those are the members that I have identified, Chair, and the apologies that I have received. I will hand it back to you, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's note the apologies. We all know the disaster which occurred in KZN, and appreciate those who have logged in, because without you, there is no move. So I would request any member to move for the adoption of the agenda which is before us. You will assist me, King?
Chairperson, it's
Yes.
Honorable Hein April. I move for the adoption of the agenda as it is presented.
Thank you, Honorable April. A mover, and then can I invite a seconder?
Second, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Kruger, for having seconded the agenda. Let's move. The next item is consideration and adoption of 2022 second term committee program. I'm inviting you, King, to present the program.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'll share the program. I think it should be visible.
It is.
Okay. Chairperson, firstly, we'll try to indicate that this is the draft program that has been crafted in line with the parliamentary program for 2022 second term. And then of importance in this term, I should highlight to the members that it is more the initial part of it is concentrated on the budget votes, as we know that we have to receive the strategic plans, annual plans and budget plans for the departments, interrogate them, and then develop and produce a budget vote report, which then is being sent to the House. Hence, then this week has been assigned for committees and oversight. However, we opted for considering or for having committees, since then we are pressed with time, that as we are starting with these briefings by the 4th of May, we are supposed to adopt the report, which will be debated. The budget vote debate will be on the 10th of May. Hence, then we opted for sitting for these presentations, and then we'll see the oversight in the coming future when that slot has been opened. So today, Chair, we have invited, it's the briefing on the progress on the finalizing of the structure of the small business development by the Public Service and Administration, which has been a long-standing issue where the department has not yet briefed the committee on what is the final structure, which then will inform the organogram of the department. After the DPSA, then we'll get the briefing on the 2022-23 strategic plan, annual performance plan, and budget plan of Small Enterprise Development Agency. Then on Wednesday, which is tomorrow, we will be getting a briefing on the strategic plan, annual performance plan.
You are not audible. I can't hear you, King.
On tomorrow, Wednesday, the 20th of April, we'll be getting the briefing from the a Small Enterprise Finance Agency, which is SEFA, on their 22-23 strategic annual performance and budget plans. Then coming on the 4th of May, the committee had planned that it will be considering and adopting the 2022-23 budget vote report of the department. And then on the 10th of May, the department will be debating the budget vote, which is budget vote 36 of the Department of Small Business Development. Then on the 11th of May, we'll be expecting to get the performance report of quarter 4 of 2021-22 of the department and the agencies. And then on the 18th of May, Chairperson would plan that we'll get the progress with the petition of the independent field technicians so that we can finalize the matter. Then on the 25th of May, we'll be having a briefing on the public procurement as an enabler to start, build and grow businesses. Then on the 1st of June, we'll be trying to get a briefing on customized enterprise and supply development that improves procurement agility. Then on the 8th of June, we'll be expecting to get the productive credit and economic growth, the role of the banking credit providers and DFI sector in granting access to credit. And then on the 15th of June, we'll be expecting to get a briefing on enhancing the contribution of small business in times of crisis. That is, we'll be looking at the stakeholder perspective analysis on how do they think that. Then the constituency period will start on the 20th of June up until...
I can't hear you, Kim.
The constituency period will then start on the 20th of June up until the 15th of August. So, Chairperson, this is the program that we have crafted. And then I will try to draw your attention to the fact that the department has written a letter to the chairperson indicating that they had not been ready. They were ready, but they had some information that they wanted to include in their strategic plan and annual performance plan. Hence, they have not yet tabled it in Parliament, and that is why it is not reflecting in the program. So we are still trying to get the date where the department will table and also get the briefing, which then it has to be before the 4th of May, so that the information from the department can be included in the report of the budget vote report. So, Chairperson, this is what we can say, not unless we can, via you, request Mr. Kumete if he has anything to add on what I've said, especially on the latter part of the program. Mr. Kumete.
Thank you, Braking. Morning, Chairperson. Morning, honourable members. Chairperson, Braking has covered me. The latter part of the program will basically be a continuation of the work that we started doing at the beginning of the 6th Parliament, where we looked at, say, 4 to 5 critical issues of interest to small enterprise sector, such as the access to finance, access to markets, the bureaucratic red tape, and others. So, Chair, we've got a list of invitees. We'll be extending an invitation to them to come and brief or present to the Portfolio Committee with a view to making a recommendation to the Department of Small Business Development. So, Chair, in short, Braking has covered me. I'm not going to waste time. We'll discuss this, Chairperson, closer to the meetings. Thank you.
Thank you, Smo.
Chairperson.
Yes, King.
So that's the program that we have crafted. And lastly, I apologize that I've made a mistake. Can I please be corrected to say I would like to also acknowledge the Deputy Minister of Public Service and Administration, Dr. Chane Pilane. I made a mistake by just not saying his name. So we would like to acknowledge Dr. Chane Pilane, the Deputy Minister of Department of Public Service and Administration, who is in the platform. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. All our ministers and deputy ministers are warmly welcome in this meeting. Your presence means a lot to us, because to be able to monitor, to do oversight in your departments where you've been deployed as political head, your presence is required. So we appreciate your presence today. It will make also our life easier. Here is the program before us. Can I have comments from members, if any?
Chairperson?
Yes.
There's a hand of Honorable Kruger and Honorable Matulelo.
Okay. In that order.
And Honorable Jacobs.
All right. In that order, Honorable Kruger.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good morning, all colleagues. And King, thank you for the proposed draft program. Madam Chair, I'm a little bit concerned about the fact that this committee, especially in the sixth parliament, we don't discuss cooperatives as intense as we should. And I was wondering if we can't slot in a day and ask the committee advisor to just bring back the study report to Spain, where the committee visited cooperatives in Spain, very successful cooperative, I must say, just to remind us again about the importance of cooperatives, if that is okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Your request is noted. Honorable Matulelo. Honorable Matulelo, can you hear me? King, is she still on the platform?
Yes, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chairperson.
Am
I audible?
Yes, you are.
You can hear me. Oh, all right, Chair. No.
You are audible, honorable member. Can you speak, please?
My concern about because the minister is with us here. I just want to know, because this program is the same thing that you are complaining about. Is the program of the cabinet changed, or are we still going to continue to have meetings same time, same days? Because we are concerned about the minister not attending our meetings. So before adoption of the of this whole program, let us amend, please. Let us hear from the minister which day or which time. If it's Wednesday, we can hold them in the afternoon. We can't talk one thing same time. Always we're complaining about same thing. Thank you, Chair. So thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Matulelo. Honorable Jacobs.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning and greetings to everybody on the platform. I would like to move for the adoption of the agenda, but I think just to latch on to Honorable Kruger, I also agree that we need to create a slot for cooperatives. So the study tour of Spain is a good start, but if I can just add that we look at what is happening in the cooperative space, so we get our advisors to give us a sense of where we're coming from cooperatives, what has happened, some of the challenges, and what is happening currently in the cooperative space. I think there's a lot of lessons for us to be learned from cooperatives, how it was done in the past. And I think there's a rationale for us to try to give cooperatives opportunity to grow in this space. So I support that notion. And with that, Chair, I move for the adoption of this agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. The program has been adopted with those inputs. I believe our officials will do the right thing. On the issue of Honorable Matulela, can we get a briefing from King, not from Smu, on how are we going to move? Because it's an item which is, I believe you can assist us in this regard, Smu, on how do we deal with the slot from the Office of Chair of Chairs. I may allow the minister to say something.
Yeah. Thank you, Chair. With regard to the meeting slot, all committees are given the meeting slots from the Office of the Chief Whip and from the Office of the House Chairperson. So the Small Business Development has been given Wednesday as their meeting slot. So as for today, that we're meeting on a Tuesday, it only happens when the parliamentary program has been scheduled as the committee week. However, we have to apply to the Office of the Chairperson of the House Chairperson for a slot if the committee would like to meet outside its meeting slot. So it only happens on that environment. What informs that also is that some members of committees, they share committees. So that is why we can't just meet at any time. We have to align the program according to our meeting slot. Last time we met on Friday, we had to apply to the House Chairperson and also indicate that how many members do we have in our committee who are sharing the committees, because Fridays has been scheduled for joint committees and then other days have been scheduled for different committees. Then meeting in the afternoon, we cannot meet in the afternoon because normally when, like on Wednesday, normally in the afternoon, it is the day for plenaries, whereby most of the time it's the questions is either to the deputy president or to the president. So that is how committees are scheduled. I think Mr. Kumete can add if I have missed something. So the only thing that can be done is to talk to the minister, because they are also having their cabinet meeting on Wednesday. So that is what we have to jungle and then with it. So we can't just say we are shifting the date and let's decide to meet on this particular date. We have to honor according to our meeting slot that has been assigned to the committee. Thank you, Chair. Anything, Mr. Kumet?
No, Praking. I'm covered. Thanks.
Thank you, Chair.
I think it's something which we are still going to jungle around, as Praking has said. I considered it because it has been a concern to many members about the appearance of the minister. After those discussions with the House Chairperson as well as the Chief Whip, will inform the committee on how are we going to move forward. Honorable Matulela, I'm going to close it in that way. Is something which we are busy dealing with it. I don't think that the minister can, because this is pure administratively, but it goes hand in hand with protocols. We can't just decide. I can't decide as the chairperson. We can't decide as the committee. It needs to go through those channels. In that order.
Chairperson, there's a hand of Honorable Kruger. I don't know whether it's a legacy hand or it's with what.
Honorable Kruger, is it a legacy hand?
No, Madam Chair, it's on this item. And I was wondering if the minister is in the house and maybe she can give us a little bit feedback how she can strategize her cabinet meetings so that she attend our meetings, because I agree 100% with King. It's going to be very difficult to move us to a different day because some of us serve on different committees and these programs already worked out for the rest of the term. So maybe we can just ask the minister if she got something maybe up her sleeve so that she can attend our committee meetings. Thank you, ma'am. Chair.
Before she gets in,
lastly, Chairperson,
Yes.
Chairperson, maybe we can indicate that the chairperson and the committee has written to the minister, and so we are still processing that interaction. Maybe the committee can be informed after the interaction with what the committee has suggested has been exhausted. Then we can, the committee can, the chairperson can come back and give the report to the committee.
Thanks, Bra King. Honorable Kruger, that's what I wanted to say. When I say we are busy with the matter, because we don't have that authority to can change the slot. So I thought I dealt with the matter. The minister has got little to say rather than checking with what we have written to her and come back and report to the portfolio committee, which will also include the wisdom of the chair of chairs as well as the chief whip. So I don't think that we may drag her. We formalize it by writing direct to her office, and after those discussions, and then we'll inform the committee the possibility of moving forward. Thank you. King, can you go back to our agenda, please?
Thank you, Chair. I think it's feasible.
Yes, it is. Who's giving us briefing on this item? Is the Department of Public Service Administration?
Yes, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Because the leader of the department, political leaders are here, I will just invite our Minister Nisi, just to brief us and give us the one who will present the presentation. Honorable Nisi.
Chairperson, this is Deputy Minister Dr. Pilani Majake. Honorable Nlesi is not on the platform.
Thank you, Deputy.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, my deputy. You may do your work.
Thank you, Chairperson. So he has actually sent his apology due to prior commitments, but I am here representing him. Let me first acknowledge you, Chairperson, and all members of the committee. Also acknowledge the Minister for Small Business Development, Minister Ndabeni, Deputy Minister, Also acknowledge the team I'm with from the Department of Public Service and Administration that is led by the DDG, Linda Trutla. And just to also acknowledge members of the public that are actually participating in this portfolio committee meeting this morning. And just say all protocols observed for those that I haven't actually managed to identify their names on the list that I'm actually looking at on the platform, from the platform. Chairperson, maybe let me just say as a start to say that personally, I am concerned about the length of time that this has actually taken to be concluded. And as a Department of Public Service and Administration, we are acknowledging the fact that it has taken a long time, and we are putting all that is necessary to actually make it possible for the Department of Small Business Development to manage to finally finalize their organizational structure, which is very important in terms of rolling out their mandate. The Department of Small Business and Development is currently operating on what is called the startup organizational structure, which was actually approved by the Minister of Public Service and Administration on the 16th of April, 2015. That's how long ago it is. Following the approval of the startup organizational structure, the department was given a task of developing an organizational structure that would include all functions transferred from the Department of Trade and Industry, as well as input from the Portfolio Committee on Small Business Development. Former Minister of Small Business Development, Honorable Lindiwe Zulu, Member of Parliament, presented a consultation request to Minister of Public Service and Administration on the modification to the Department of Small Business Development organizational structure in November 2018. Considering the national elections, it is said, in 2019, and the fact that the previous administration was nearing the end, it was then decided to slow down the process. Given the anticipated changes to the government machinery, the then Minister of Public Service and Administration advised that changes to the Department of Small Business Development organizational structure should be postponed until the sixth administration is in place. This was to allow a new executive authority to put creative mind on the configuration of the department. On the 19th of November 2020, the Department of Small Business Development submitted a pre-consultation request to the Department of Public Service and Administration on the proposed organizational structure. And the findings of the analysis highlighted functional and establishment issues that needs to be addressed before submitting formal request for concurrence to the Minister of Public Service and Administration, which is something that up to now has not been finalized. So basically, it's just a matter of looking at process and what could be the barriers to conclusion of this matter. And at the end of the presentation that's going to be given by the DDG, Linda Trutla, there will be proposal of solutions of trying to circumvent this that we take as a process that it actually unnecessarily took too long for us to actually help the Department of Small Business and Development to manage to finalize their organizational structure. Chairperson, through you, may I request DDG Linda Trutla to make a presentation to the Portfolio Committee. I thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Deputy Minister. Yes, you may proceed.
Good morning, Chair, Ministers, Deputy Ministers, and Honorable Members. The presentation, Chair, is actually going to be delivered by Mr. Oscar Chivase. He is the one that has been working with the department since 2014. So he has drafted the presentation for us and will take us through the presentation. So through you, Chair, if I may, request Mr. Chivase to then project the presentation and deliver the presentation to the committee.
Thank you, DDG. Mr. Chivase, proceed, please.
Thanks, Chairperson. Morning to Minister, Morning to Deputy Ministers and the DG, Honorable Member. My name is Oscar Chivase from the Department of Public Service and Administration, and I'm responsible for organizational design within the public service. So I'll be making a presentation that talks to the progress made on the organizational structure for the Department of Small Business and Development. I won't bore the panel, the committee with the background, because the DM have already alluded to the background. So I'll go straight to the matters at hand on what happens after our appearance to the portfolio committee. So after our appearance to portfolio committee, we have engaged the departments in trying to consolidate all the inputs that were given, provided for by the portfolio committee, and trying to come up with a service delivery model that tend to respond to the organizational structure. So there've been some engagement between the Department for Public Service and Administration, despite that we couldn't finalize the proposed organizational structure. So there are some other work that has been done by the departments jointly with the Department of Public Service and Administration on trying to consolidate the two entities, which is Seda, and then the CIFA work that needs to be done. So we still are waiting for the departments to finalize the entire process in terms of the coming up with the legislation that talks to one new entities. So from the DPSA side, we've already provided inputs on what needs to be observed, the things that needs to be in place when they do consolidation of all pieces of legislations to form one new portfolio. So on the slide, those are the inputs that we provided to the departments that they need to make sure that they're in place. For in case like the issues around the service delivery model, which is key, they need to ensure that on the business case to consolidate the two entities, the business case responds to the detailed analysis of what the entity will be doing. How are they going to reach out to their constituency or to the people that they're servicing? So we did give inputs to the departments to say that they need to do the detailed cost analysis of the restructuring, because it's going to be a very complex process, but already DPSA have traveled the line. So we did provide the department with the documents that will assist them to put everything in place. The approach to organized labor in terms of the PSABC resolution on restructuring, on how they can go about that. So once the legislation and the business case has been finalized, there will be a formal consultation from Minister of Small Business Development to the Minister of Public Service and Administration in line with the public service regulation. So in 2022, the Minister for Small Business Development have reached out to the Minister for Public Service and Administration on the advertisement of 3 positions of a Deputy Director General. So where we indicated that she further requested that she want to make amendments in terms of the nomenclatures of those Deputy Director General posts. So we consider that those positions as part of the program positions in a department that are aligned to the budget program structure issued by the DPSA, issued by the National Treasury, which informs how the department will be funded in terms of the different programs that they're going to deliver. So the advice from the Minister for Public Service and Administration was that the Minister for Small Business need to ensure that, because changing of the nomenclatures will have impact on the performer level below the Deputy Director General position, rather look at the entire structure. The exercise of review the structure will have impact on the service delivery model that was already 90% done. So those are the two positions that the minister presented to the Department of Public Service and Administration, from the name Enterprise Development and Entrepreneurship to Enterprise Development and Innovation and Entrepreneurship. So if we're aiding the innovation part on the existing program, meaning that it needs to find expression on the people that are going to perform that job of innovation below the DDG. It's not only the changing of the names, but it have impact on the delivery of services and the expectation from the program manager, which is the DDG position. The second one was the DDG Integrated Cooperative Development, at which the minister requested the name change to Integrated Cooperative and Micro Enterprise Development. So the same thing was said to say that to respond to this program, we need to relook at the entire branch rather than looking at the naming convention. We need to look at the other functions that follows the DDG. So this will have impact on startup organizational structure, and also have impact on the budget program structure that needs to be amended. So the changes will have to find expression on the budget program structure and the strategic plan of the department. So the MPSA wrote back to the minister responsible for small business and indicate that the implication of the proposed changes on the name convention need to be looked at in the entire organizational structure. And that should be aligned also with the service delivery model on how the department is intending to deliver those services. So further advice that was given to the department is that they need to ensure that the proposed organizational structure is in line with the service delivery model, which is key to say this is how we're going to deliver our services. Despite that, we don't have money for now as government. We need to cut our clothes according to our size, but we need to indicate how are we going to deliver the services based on the resources that we have currently. So we should be meeting with the department in the next 2 weeks to consolidate the new service delivery model that take into account the changes that have been made on the branch level that ultimately lead to the new nomenclatures on the name. So the DPSA will be assisting in the next 2 weeks, will be assisting the departments to consolidate the service delivery model, which then will be translated to organizational structure. We should be finalizing this process before end of May with the department. So hopefully before end of June, we should be implementing the new organizational structure with the department. So that's the progress, Chair, in terms of how far are we and the engagements that happens between the DPSA and the department. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, DM, with your team. King, can we go back to our agenda so that I open for discussion? Thank you, DM.
Thank you, Chair.
We really appreciate as the portfolio committee to be honest with us that this matter is long overdue, and that acknowledgement gives us hope that we will speed up the process. And thanks to the minister and his deputy and their officials for having taken such initiative. We were worried as the portfolio committee, why is this not happening? So, but thanks for the briefing, and it seems as if there is progress. I'm happy about the 2 weeks, but I would like to hear more because timeframes are so important. But we understand that the issue of consultations takes time, the issue of aligning issues with the current budget, as well as considering the new service delivery model, is also very important. I would like now to invite honorable members to engage in the presentation. King, you will assist me to identify hands.
Yes, Chair. Thank you. So far, for now, there's a hand of Honorable Jacobs. I think we can proceed with Honorable Jacobs, Chair, or followed by Honorable April.
I thought I will get members participating actively, because this is a thorny issue in the portfolio committee, while the Department of Public Service Administration is here together with the minister. So, but it's fine. Honorable Jacobs, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Chair. Now, I think let's note the report. I think your guidance is instructive. We are concerned that this is taking so long, and we also acknowledge that the department is upfront with the delays. Notwithstanding, I think we need to put more pressure on, and we want clear time frames. So if the 2 weeks is fine, but clearly there must be another time period for this department to come back to this portfolio committee and give us update or progress. It can't be that this is still an establishment structure since 2014, and it's now almost 5 years ago. So there is a level of urgency. We need to build capacity in this department so that they can deliver to our people. Job creation and small business development is critical. So I think I speak for all of us. It says this is a priority. There's big vacancies in the department, and there's underspending. And so therefore we need this establishment and this organogram finalized as in yesterday. So we can't be allowed by the bureaucrats, technocrats to delay the process any further. So Chair, with your guidance, I suggest that we note what they have. We accept that they're honest and they haven't delivered much, and we want them to come back with a better progress report and the implementation frameworks and timelines, etc. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable April.
Thank you, Chairperson. Let me also take the opportunity to firstly welcome the report that has been given by the department. One would appreciate it, but not only appreciate the report. I think Honorable Vais is raising valid points as it pertains to the deliverables, the time frames, and so on and so forth. This is really a shame that we have seen this report being worked on since 2016 up until now. It doesn't create a lot of confidence in me that even the short time that we are told now that is going to happen will actually happen. One would also would have also wanted to hear from the department to demonstrate how they are going to align between the department, the old proposed structure, and the merger of Seda, SIFA, and CBA. And then there is this issue that, but I think this would be a department's issue. So that in terms of the alignment, this is what I would want to hear of the proposed structure, to just give us as the portfolio committee some clarity on that, on how that will work. I thank you for now. I'll take another bite later.
Thank you. Is there any other hand, King?
No, Chairperson, those were two hands that were raised that I noticed.
Okay, thank you. If there are no other hands, DM with your team, our message is let's speed up the program. I would like you to respond so that we can zoom to the other item.
Thank you, Chair. I think the message is quite loud and clear that we need to conclude the process. And like I've indicated, that the department will be finalizing those solutions that would actually be worked on in collaboration with the Department of Small Business Development, hoping that what has been identified as glitches in terms of the communication between the two departments will manage to be finally dealt with in a way that's going to help finalize this process. But I think what is important is to also keep you abreast the process, Chairperson, in whichever way that you may feel fit. You are welcome to do so that we don't go away now and then come back after 6 months and tell you nothing has happened. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Deputy Minister, for the response. We will do so. We'll interact with you timelessly, and also will monitor the Department of Small Business, as we have indicated that we have given them some tips to work on it, so that we are really confident that at the end of the day, those bottlenecks which are there between the two agencies are being resolved. Our worry, the EDM, is that if we don't conclude this matter, finalize it with speed, the issue of job creation gonna be a dream. So again, our worrying factor, DM, is that our clients will be assisted by Seda, but at the end of the day, they don't get assistance from SEFA. So once the team is in one roof, collaborating with each other, we believe we'll have a good product, because our worrying factor is the slow pace of assisting those small business. Meanwhile, in our minds, our thinking is that the only sector which can create more jobs in our country is the small business. So we believe that you will do us favor by checking each other. I'm happy because the minister and the deputy minister are here. She will also give us that surety while we are dealing with her, because I will request her also to do her political overview. So we'll appreciate if the minister can also assure us. Our problem is the time frame, and we can't dodge, we can't run away from the new service delivery model, because it's the one which will assist us to touch the ground. The issue of working in isolation of the three levels of finance, yes, it's a problem. But all in all, thank you so much. You can see that there is a movement from your side. Please, let's continue doing so. Thank you, DM. At this stage, I will invite Minister Stella to give us just a few remarks before the presentation by the agency. Over to you, Honorable Minister.
Thank you so much, Comrade Chair, and good morning to all honorable members of the Portfolio Committee. Good morning to the DM of DPSA and her team, and all other guests that are here in the meeting. Honorable Chair, of course, I want to emphasize what the DM has said in relation to the commitment that we have towards finalizing the structure, as you did indicate yourself, that it is very critical in order to respond to the mandate that we are undertaking. Of course, at the center of it is alignment with the things that they've identified, and I'm happy that the team DPSA is informing us that they've given the department some tips. We will make sure that indeed we get a presentation and an update on that, and we fast track the process and do what has to be done. One of the critical issues, honorable members, indeed, for example, on the letter that was flighted wherein we're requesting name changes, is to relook the mandate and the functions that we are undercarrying. And therefore, where there's a gap, see if we can't add to that, which is why you saw, for example, on the other portfolio that spoke to the DDG cooperatives, we added the informal traders or something like that, because this is meant to make sure that we do not leave anyone outside. All the stakeholders that we're responsible for, they get the desired attention. As we meet the different stakeholders in the ecosystem, they do get to complain to say we are focusing on certain components of our ecosystem, which is why we said there's a need to review the entire branch and therefore the functions indeed that must be carried out by the personnel in that. So these are the changes that we thought it would be possible. But as I said, Chairperson, I'm happy that there are tips that were given in order to fast track the process. We will definitely make sure that as they've given timeframes, we will come back on that. And the DG is here with his team. They are listening to that we have no time to be toing and throwing, but to make sure that we get to consolidate and do these things so that we do not miss out. Chairperson, I wanted to talk to that in relation to the structure that was presented. But of course, I want to thank the Portfolio Committee again for affording us an opportunity to make the presentations by our state-owned agencies that will be presenting, whether it's Seda, who's presenting their APP and strat plan. They are here. Sorry. They are here, Chairperson. But what we want to really highlight is that indeed the work that is being done by Seda is really increasingly taking prominence in our portfolio as we emphasize the need for business development support that we ought to provide to the entire ecosystem. The demand by the sector, especially the startups entities, is forever growing, as we all agree that we have not managed to grow jobs because we have not paid much attention on investment of the startups and others. And now as we drive that narrative, we are seeing many people are innovating and therefore coming up with these startups. Therefore, it means we need to match the capability with the resources and whatever that we need to respond with in order to make sure that the sector can thrive. Of course, to deal with our increasing unemployment level, which was reported by Status A, we do need instruments like Seda to divert dependency on jobs into self-sustaining business initiatives and other livelihood and income-generating activities. We are saying South Africans have to really instill a culture of wanting to be job creators, not job seekers. In partnership with other agencies, organizations, business and civil society enterprises, our resources would really feel a greater need in the quest to support SMEs so that they are viable and sustainable. And this should be happening in the broader context of the economic reconstruction and recovery plan that government and the private sector has adopted. Therefore, Chairperson, what we are saying is that it's important that as Seda prepares to incorporate CFA and the CBDA, a perfect alignment of the activities is strived for. And this helps to create the one-stop shop value chain of support measures, coordination, and holistic engagement with the sector, as you have already alluded to this point. We have, as the ministry, over the past weeks, been engaging with international bodies, such as the World Bank Group, private sector entities, and other local sector organizations, in order to find more collaborative opportunities to support our small businesses. And some of these partnerships will be managed through Seda, including the interventions to the KZN floods and the Eastern Cape floods. Seda is our implementing agency, where it's grant-based, and of course, on the blended financing, CFA remains the critical agency that is responsible for that. Chairperson, these are some, of course, of the key issues that I would like to highlight. And as I indicated, the DG and the acting CE of Seda will fill in the details, and then we can engage. Thank you once more, Chairperson and honorable members. I would hand over to the CE with your.
Thank you. Thank you, Minister. Let them proceed. Thanks for the overview, political overview.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you, Chair.
So, sorry, Chair. My apologies, Chairperson and honorable members. Chair, I know you did respond to the issue of the clashes of the meeting of the executive and the portfolio committee, and indeed will respond to it. But for now, as things stand, I don't know which is what is coming to the portfolio committee. If it is possible to at least consider changing the times in terms of, I had another member that was making a proposal that it can be in the afternoon and after the plenaries if possible. But the leader of government business is the one that is engaging on these matters, as unfortunately they are not governed from our side as the departments. Thanks, Chair. I thought I should just make reference to that. Of course, when I'm absent, the cabinet always emphasizes with the leader of government business and speaker, they always say the deputies must be there at least when we cannot make it. Thanks, Chair. I wanted to respond to that.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Let the CEO proceed.
Thank you, Chairperson. Before our CE proceed, if you'd, with your permission, of course, I just wanted to do the introduction, to introduce the team that we have with the CEO, and maybe just to do a bit of highlights without duplicating what the CE is going to say. I just wanted to greet the minister, the deputy minister, the DG, as well as the colleagues and honorable members who are here today. Thank you very much, Chairperson and members, for the invitation. As we all know, we are here to brief the committees on the Seda's 2023 strategic plans. With me this morning, Chair, acting CEO, Mr. Mbata. I also have our executive manager, Ms. Majola, our CFO, our acting CFO, Mr. Mabani, as well as Mr. Leo, manager for STP. Also have our acting acting CSIO, Ms. Lamini, with us, as well as Ms. Dube from the office of the CEO. The CE, as the minister has mentioned, will fill in the gaps of what our plan is looking like. The minister has spoken on the issues of partnerships and stakeholders that are critical in ensuring that all the targets that we've set ourselves Chair and members. As members would know, I am in KZN, so we are having this breaking from time to time. But without wasting any time and with the fear of breaking again, I will hand over to the CE to do that high-level presentation, and also just to present and highlight our strategic focus and highlight to members the changes that we have made. Members will see that our strategic plan is very much alive and relevant to both the external and internal environment that have been facing us. Chair, without taking further time, I'll hand over to Mr. Mbata. Over to you, CE.
Mr. Mbata, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Chair. And apologies, we just had load shedding, so they were just trying to sort out the power. Apologies for that delay. I would like to greet you, Chair, greet the members, the Minister, the DMO TPSA, DG, the Chairperson here, and the colleagues. My name is Kosko Nambata. I'm the acting CEO here at Seda. I wanted to first check if my presentation, King, is visible on your side.
It is visible.
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, thank you. So today we're here to present the work that Seda will be undertaking in the current financial year, which is 2022-2023. And we're going to be taking the committee through what we would like to, the work, the impact that we'd like to have, and the SMMEs that we'd like to touch under various programs that we have within Seda. So I will be taking the committee through that, as well as the budget side of it, in terms of how much money we'll be utilizing to be able to provide the services that we need to provide as an agency. Chair, I would not waste a lot of time. I think okay, I think it's showing properly now. The first part that I would like to just speak about is how our presentation would look like. This presentation is taken from the main document, so it represents the main document that has been submitted. We'll be dealing with where our mandate comes from, which is part A. Part B will be dealing with our strategic focus in terms of our alignment of our APP to the minister's contract, our priorities, our outcomes and output under number 4. Then 5 talks about the performance in terms of what is it then that we'll be doing, as well as our targets for the year. And then under 6, we're looking at the resources, and then 7 is just more on the updated risks. So that's how we are outlined for this morning. And Chair, I will just go through the presentation, and if needs be, I'll get an indication that if I need to go a bit deeper or into details, but I'll try to do the highlights and taking the document as read. Thank you, Chair. The next part is just more that our mandate as an organization is informed by different relevant legislation and policy mandates. So I will not go into each and every one of them, but that is where it comes from, Chair. And also in terms of policy mandate, the NDP obviously is a big part of, informs a big part of what we are doing. The next part, Chair, is more on the key statements that underpins our APP for this current financial year. I will highlight just a few things under the key statements that we are making as we move forward as an organization. I think it becomes key that we do state that the organization needs to show that it is an agile organization that that is able to respond to the needs of the SMMEs within this country. There's quite a few things that are happening or that has happened, including the COVID-19, which obviously had a huge impact. And as we try to recover the economy, we need SMMEs to play a very big part in doing so. So the organization can't then remain stagnant and still be offering similar things that it used to offer. But how do we then make sure that our products or our services continue to evolve to make sure that we are relevant as an organization? And that precisely, I still say that there's no other organization that is more relevant or more needed in terms of providing business development support services other than Seda. And as a result, then the members will see when I go through the APP or the targets that there are new targets that were not measuring the previous year. And all that work is done to make sure that we don't remain stagnant as an organization, but we push to make sure that the service is delivered to the SMMEs within the country. And that is probably what I would like to, this page obviously covers that and covers the importance of the district development model as we try then to drill down to get services into the districts and to the municipalities. And we're saying, Chair, that understanding of the districts and how they function and the economic activity in each and every district within the country is of paramount. So that then our services then are tailor-made to make sure that we service the industries that are relevant to particular districts. So we embracing that district development model as approved, so that then we become part of that and we make sure that we deliver our services accordingly. As I always make some examples, that if we're dealing with Mpumalanga where there's coal, then how do we make sure then that our services are more structured towards that, and we are able to assist SMMEs in that manner. Eastern Cape, part of it deals with the motor industry. How do we then make sure that we are aligned in terms of that, and so other provinces as well, and some provinces are known for agriculture. How to align ourselves as far as that is concerned. That is underpinned by technology. I think at this day and age, there's nothing that we can do without making sure that the digital part of it is improved at all times. Hence, then we have our digital hubs and incubators that come in handy to make sure that there are new concepts, there are new digital ideas that are being developed to take this country forward and developed by the SMMEs, and we support those SMMEs in those spaces to make sure then that the ideas become viable ideas that can also receive further funding for them to be taken to the market. And for me and for us as an organization as well, those things become critical in us moving forward as an organization. Another thing that is very big is that there is obviously, given what has happened, given COVID, given the state of our economy, there is fear, in terms of entrepreneurship, where yes, people want to do entrepreneurship because they don't have options, but we find that the real entrepreneurs as well, they fear that their businesses would not be sustainable within this economy. And I believe that then we are correctly positioned as an organization, as Seda, to make sure that we provide that necessary mentorship, that necessary coaching, training in terms of business management, product quality standards, and other supports that we offer to make sure that the ideas are implemented, and SMMEs are confident in implementing their ideas, knowing that Seda is there as a partner for that. We will also be making sure that our partnerships with the various cities are more intensified, and they're also more executed, because we have some MOUs, but we just need to make sure that that has been executed, and that we're able to train more industry-specific entrepreneurs through the various partnerships. Chair, that is that on that on just the background that underpins the work that we're going to be doing. If I'm not sure, Chair, if I can proceed, and if my presentation is visible as well on your side.
It is visible. Proceed, please.
Okay, thanks, Chair. Apologies for that, because I keep on getting it breaks on my side due to the load shedding that we're experiencing. Hence my question. We then, when we're doing our work, we then analyzed we did the pastel, where we analyzed the external environment in terms of how it impacts us in achieving what we need to achieve, but also what is our response that is coming from Seda, in terms of making sure that even though there are a lot of factors that could affect and impact us and the SMMEs out there, but we're still able to deliver on the mandate that has been given to us. Chair, I would just select a few as I'm presenting, so that I don't go through everything word for word. And we acknowledge in our political space and that there will always be changes that are necessary for the country to be propelled forward. We are then saying that as an organization, we need to be an agile organization that is able to adapt to changes and be able to move with the programs as expected by the various stakeholders and our principals. We also need to make sure that that clear distinction between the policymakers and the implementing agency, where from a department side, it's clear that is policy, and we implement as the agency, and that will help a long way in clearing any confusion that could be there. We then say there are also economical factors. I think the economic growth is an issue, and all members are aware in terms of our country, and we're saying that obviously has limited a lot of opportunities in terms of the local and local market. We've got the current international events taking place, the war, or the instabilities that obviously affects the businesses that trade on an international platform. And I think for us, we just need to make sure that we have instruments that would de-risk that and make sure that the opportunity matching then takes place from a Seda point of view to assist the SMMEs to leverage both local and international markets, and also then partnering, as the minister was saying, with the various partners to unlock those value chains with the various stakeholders, as the minister is leading that work, to make sure that we leverage funds then from other partners to make sure to enable SMMEs to participate in this economy. Also unlocking the value chains of the private sector to introduce our SMMEs into those value chains so that they participate in those market pockets that are veiled by the private sector. So our relationship with the private sector is more important than before to make sure that that takes place. I think under social, we are aware of the issues of high unemployment, and that's where then we've got programs like entrepreneurship awareness, that our response, entrepreneurship awareness as well, that will make sure that we have more entrepreneurs coming into the fore, and that will create entrepreneurship, but also will create more jobs so that then we're able to absorb the citizens of this country into those job-making businesses that we would have supported even pre-funding to make sure that those businesses remain sustainable, and also making sure that we provide our services to these businesses for them to remain sustainable. And the technological, this is more important for us as an organization. I think, and we know that we're behind in terms of technology. Part of what we will be doing this year is to make sure that we improve our ICT, that we're accessible, more accessible to the SMMEs, and that we try to move away from paper as much as possible, and that calls for systems to be implemented to manage the interaction between us and the SMMEs. And also, obviously, we're aware the cost of data is high. How to then make sure that we have zero rated in terms of our website and other platforms to make sure that even everyone can access our services. I've touched base, Chair, on the under environmental, where I spoke about the pandemic that has left a situation that is not desirable within the country. We're seeing the floods in KZN. We need to respond. We are responding as a portfolio. So as I said before, we need to be an agile organization, and we recognize that, and obviously touches more on the legal side, which also talks to us lobbying and getting more budget, and also making sure that we streamline our requirements. Under the SWOT analysis, we also did our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats as we're doing the work in preparing for this financial year. We do acknowledge under our strengths. One of the things is that we've got, a very big geographical presence as an organization, with branches all over, but 54 branches. However, we note that even though that is the case, we still have places and municipalities and districts where we don't have branches as an organization. So our response is that we'll be expanding our services, and I'll show when I'm dealing with the whole APP how we'll be doing that to make sure that even the most rural areas are able to access Seda, while also making sure that we take SEFA with us as our sister company, and they also present in those areas, so that then we can offer, in preparation for the merger, we start offering a basket of services where clients walk into one place and they're able to be assisted across Seda and SEFA. So I will talk about that as how we're going to be expanding our network. We committed last year that we'll do this work this year, this financial year, and it is part of our APP this year as we move forward, because accessibility is key for SMMEs, but also that will help us to not have long queues in our branches, to make sure that the SMEs then access our services using various methods, and then that improve the efficiency of our services. We also will make sure that we continue to improve talent management. We know we've had issues with the hiring because of the merger, but we will continue to make sure that we look for the right people to propel this organization forward, and we provide the relevant training for those employees that we'll be having. I think one big thing is improving our product offerings, and making sure that we have different products that are designed for different types of customers, because our customers are not the same, and we can't then as an organization be providing similar services to all customers, where we're able to differentiate between the customers that are at a particular level of growth, and we're able to help them quickly, while we focus on making sure to develop the startups and the new SMMEs or the growing SMMEs within the space. We've done work around this, Chair, where we've looked into our products, and as we begin this financial year, we are now able to offer products according to customer needs, not according to what we previously thought the customers needed. We also have done away with quite a few things under the red tape, where we pay for certain things that you never used to pay for. We pay for full on people requiring CIPC documents. We have moved away from any kind of own contribution on all our products. As the year begins, our customers are not contributing any cent in terms of our products. We offer 100% in terms of paying for the services. If they want a business plan, we pay for it 100%. This ensures that we don't have exclusions, that our customers or our SMMEs access our products without any form of red tape. We'd rather spend the money on that than to return money. So those are just a few that I'm talking about, but we've relooked at our whole value proposition and our whole offering in terms of that. And I touched base on some of the weaknesses already, so I won't go into details. I spoke about recruitment of staff and making sure that we digitize some of our tools, like our e-services portal, to make sure that our customers are able to reach us even without having to go to our offices. Other opportunities we identified quite a few, and I've touched based on the processes and systems and turnaround times. And that's what I was talking about when I was saying we're going to have extended network, but also relooking at our offering to make sure that we remain relevant as an organization. We partnering with the private sector, the SETAs, and the higher learning institutions to continue to improve our training programs and methodologies, so that SMMEs get the best from us as an organization. Continue to look at the ecosystem and making sure that we lead in that space in terms of the ecosystem. We would like also to open more centers of entrepreneurship via our TVET colleges, because that will help us to make sure that we have our entrepreneurs at an early stage and we nurture them at an early stage, so that then by the time they're ready for the market, they are seasoned entrepreneurs who will not make the same mistakes that the generation before made. And that is critical work that we're doing at that level. There are obviously threats that we are facing, but we are also making sure that we lead in that space. For example, the lack of affordable infrastructure for clients to access digital services due to exorbitant data cost. We are working on that to make sure that at least our services and our websites is accessible, and that there's limitation in terms of cost. And that is that on the internal and external environment factors that we discussed. The previous one was external, this is also internal environment factors, and I've covered those ones, Chair. And I believe then that this underpins our ability to work, and if we're aware of these and what we need to do as Seda, then we'll be able to achieve and be able to mitigate the risks that exist within the industry. I would then go straight to just a summary on how our APP is aligned to the Minister's contract. I will not go into the details, but I want to just ask for the members to pay attention to the two last columns, where we're saying that we're aligned in terms of the incubators that needs to be built or that needs to be established, and the hubs by 2024, and that is covered under Program 2. We'll look into that when I unpack the programs. The financial support in terms of women for international to access international markets. We are pioneering the she trade and other platforms to make sure that as an organization that women have platforms where they can sell their product, and that is also covered under Program 2 that I will also unpack. The issues of minimum target youth and all, we focus on this as an organization. We make sure that we deliver according to this as well in terms of our programs. Also on the competitive small businesses, we cover that under Program 1 and Program 2, where our focus really as Seda is making sure that we create competitive businesses. And that is mainly our role, businesses that can take their products anywhere, businesses that can run and be sustainable and also make profit, and thus making sure that there's wealth creation, because the ultimate goal is not just to have people busy, it's not just to have SMEs busy on a daily basis, but the ultimate goal is to make sure that we support these SMEs so that they can create wealth. Yes, we want them to run successful businesses, but at the end of the day, there must be a wealth shift. We must be able to sit in 10 years time and measure if really we've been able to make sure that through our support, there's been wealth created, because the jobs creation, the sustainable business creation, all those we measure on a quarterly basis, but we need to begin to focus on also businesses that will create wealth for the previously disadvantaged people of this country. So that is our alignment. The next slide just talks to how then one of the big things, how do we then commit to a Seda-CIFA collaboration in the current financial year? We will be working together as sister companies within the portfolio to make sure that everything of ours is aligned, that the business plans created by Seda are aligned to what CIFA is looking for in terms of funding. I'm making that example. So this slide just talks to what Seda will be doing on the second column and what CIFA will be doing on the last column. Obviously, the first column talking about the types of interventions under the pre-business support. We need to make sure that that common template that exists for business plan is effective, and that we're able then to get more businesses funded through the process. We will then, from a Seda side, be doing client assessment from the pre-investment stage, making sure that we put all BDS interventions to enable the clients to be ready for funding, and also to run businesses post the approval of funding by CIFA. On the other hand, CIFA would then make sure that they conduct the necessary financial and technical due diligence based on what would have been forwarded and the business plan that would have forwarded, and also making sure that then everything's aligned and they do the approval and legal contracting. On a Seda side, and after the funding, which is the post-investment monitoring support, we're then taking our place in terms of making sure that all businesses that are funded by CIFA are also part of the business that we're assisting for mentorship, coaching, and training. We also have now developed a common database between CIFA and Seda on these post-investment service providers, so that then we have a similar standard that we require and that we uphold as the two entities, so that then the work done in either of the entities follows a similar pattern, and that we produce high quality work. So we'll be doing that as well in terms of CIFA funded clients, but also obviously our services are not limited to CIFA funded clients. We continue to provide support to all SMMEs within the country, but this is just highlighting the work that we'll be doing together. Then we make sure then that we look at the clients supported by CIFA as well, to make sure that they produce quality products that can be accepted by the markets. So we'll be doing that work within that portfolio, assisting the clients within the portfolio, while they ensure on their side that the businesses that we provide market access to, then they get the additional funding that they need to improve their business cash flow. So there will be that joint working and our commitment in the current financial year and going forward, so that then we're able to do diagnosis on distressed businesses funded by the portfolio as well, and then we're able to implement the effective measures on the CIFA side to make sure that the clients then are able to pay what they can afford if they've been distressed or if they've been impacted. Take the KZN situation at the moment. There are CIFA, Seda funded SMMEs that have been impacted. How do we then collaborate to make sure that the work continues and that the SMEs are put back into a working position and they're able to continue sustaining jobs and creating jobs within this space? So that's a work that we'll be doing while we're looking at the SMEs within the country at large, because it is not right that as entities within the department, one entity can create and ensure that there's access to markets, but the other entity then is not able to fund, because then if working together, we should then be able to trust the work done by each entity. Again, it is also not right that the other entity would be able to fund, but we are not able, as Seda, after clients have received funding, to help them diversify their market, because that's what we should be doing, so that then they're able to repay the loans that they have if we assist them to improve and increase their turnover. So there's a lot of things that are underpinned by the collaboration between the two entities, and we're hoping to achieve more seamless outcomes, and that is supporting the SMMEs that we are supposed to support, either financially or non-financially. Then we'll be doing some work together as the entities where we're going to the market together. We do joint marketing and outreach campaigns and co-locations in various municipalities and extension of our programs. That becomes key. But how to go to the market together and make sure that we take joint accountability, because if we can't have a situation where the two entities can't take joint accountability for the work that we're supposed to do, but also going out there to tell everyone that this is who we are and what we're about as the two entities within the portfolio. That will help us as we prepare for the merger, because we don't believe that the work needs to start then, but we need to start now, so that when we get to the time of the merger, everything then works seamlessly. And that also talks to sharing of information and also systems and so forth, so that then we're able to start looking at one systems for the entities in preparation for the merger. That is the work that we'll be doing. This will be supporting the APP for this year to make sure that we meet the APP for this current financial year. And we've agreed with CIFA on that. Chair, I will take you to 4.1, which is the outcomes and outputs. We've got 5 outcomes that we have as an organization. One talks to entrepreneurship awareness, growth and sustainability of SMMEs, especially in the township and rural areas, where we're saying that we need to facilitate the entrepreneurship awareness and facilitate township and rural-based SMMEs in terms of support. We then outcome 2 talk about increased localization and market penetration by SMMEs. We will continue with this work where we are making sure that we create opportunities for SMMEs to access markets, both local and internationally, and we'll dive deeper into it as I'm presenting. And then again, being leaders in the ecosystem and coordinating the ecosystem to make sure that we create opportunities for SMMEs. Under outcome 4, we're talking about increased growth and sustainability of SMMEs. This is more critical than ever, where we need to make sure that SMMEs remain sustainable and that we provide measures and tools to create that environment for them to be sustainable and for them to grow. And that becomes key of what we do as an organization. And last, the outcome 5 is more of an agile and innovative, excellent, customer-centric organization. I can never overemphasize the issues of customer centricity. And I can say that we will be this year doing a lot of training to our frontline employees on customer centricity, and also the understanding that the organization exists because of the SMMEs that are out there that needs our help. And without the SMMEs needing our help, then there will be an organization called Seda. So we need then to position ourselves and know that we are here to serve as an organization. We're here to serve SMMEs, and SMMEs then don't need to be the ones serving us, and begging us for services. We've gone through the issues of cyber attack and the issues of audit, but we are ready as an organization to then provide the service that we're supposed to, and we'll be then prioritizing that and making sure that the trainings take place and that we're able to measure that as the SMEs continue to come to us for services. So that's how we then start the year and making sure that we remain aligned as an organization. I will then go to the institutional performance information, which then really talks to us about our programs, what we'll be focusing on, and what our targets are then in the current financial year. I will highlight the new ones that we are adding, while also focusing on how we're growing the existing number of SMMEs that we want to support each year as we look forward. So I will focus mainly on the 2022-23 numbers. I will not focus on the 2023, 24, 25, but they are there. But just the current financial year, I will be highlighting. Under our entrepreneurship awareness, we're targeting this year that we'll reach 20,000 SMMEs under that awareness program. And that will also help us then have that pipeline of new entrepreneurs coming into the space and making sure that they are supported. But how do they go about in doing so? What programs are there for them to be doing that? How can then they be trained pre-everything so that they are ready to run their businesses? That comes under our entrepreneurship awareness sessions that we'll be running in the current financial year. We are looking at 20,000. We're targeting 16,666 in the previous year. So we're growing that. SMME, in terms of our township, we are targeting 16,000 in the current financial year, growing that from the previous financial year. The incubation centers established, we're looking at establishing 11 incubators in digital hubs in the current financial year. That obviously may look small, but in terms of just the numbers, we'll be looking at 55 million just to establish those at an average cost of 5 million to establish those incubators and digital hubs in the current financial year. So we're increasing from the 110 that we have currently to 121 by end of the financial year. That is our target. So the calls will be out and focusing more on the digital space, digital incubators, and also making sure that we put incubators in the relevant districts that post to the economy of particular districts. So we'll be doing that work in the current financial year. And we are bringing this to the organizational APP. Not that we're not doing this in the previous years, but we didn't lift them up. But we're lifting this up to the APP mainly because of the importance of these as we try to create sustainable businesses, but also to improve the digital space and also have more digital entrepreneurs within this country. So we're lifting that up in the current financial year to the APP. The next one is one of the most important one, which talks to the access points that I was talking about. We are saying we are aware that some rural areas and some rural towns are not able to access our services. And as a result, then we're saying we have we this year then going to be embarking on that program where we then, for example, go to a rural town, let me say, Petratif Chair, in Mpumalanga, you know, or Caroline, for example, and we're saying who is the Black accountant that is providing or assisting SMMEs in that area. How do that Black accountant become our extension so that then they're able to prepare business plans and provide all our services at no cost to the SMMEs, and also be able to do an extension where customers can come and consult on the work that we do as Seda and be able to access all our services through that. Obviously, we need to accredit those and train those local accountants to make sure that they provide the right service. We cannot be opening offices everywhere. It's too expensive to do so, but we can have these access points and being able then to extend ourselves beyond just the brick and mortar. We're targeting 80 in this year, 60 next year, and 40 in the next financial year. So we'll be looking at your Eastern Cape, Mpumalanga, KZN, Limpopo, Northwest initially, you know, so that then we are more accessible in those areas. So that is one outcome that we should be able to achieve by end of the financial year. And then the other one is more on the ecosystem, making sure that at least our objectives on building the ecosystem and effective ecosystem are achieved in the current financial year. This is more on a quarterly basis, how we break down the same targets on a quarterly basis. I would not spend much time on it, but this is how we expected to achieve and deliver on a quarterly basis. Program 2, then I'll move, Chair, to that talks about business competitiveness and viability. This is where we're looking at access to local markets. We're looking at 2,000. Again, this is one measure that we are lifting up. 2,000 SMMEs, and the international market, at least 1,000 SMMEs. And you know that the number went down from the previous years because of the issues of COVID and so forth, but we are growing that number as we move forward so that we have more of our SMMEs accessing and prepared to access the international market. Incubation program, we're looking at least reaching 2,500 SMMEs supported through our network. And then productivity improvement, we continue on that work as we've been reporting on it, increasing that to 2,000 from 1.5, as well as assist the SMMEs to do productivity improvement. We are looking at TTA, technical assistance. This is where we offer grants to SMMEs to buy equipment only, so that then we can assist them to accredit their products, you know, before they can even go for bigger debts that they may need to take to expand their businesses. So that work would, that event would probably cost us an average of 800,000 per client. Will cost us roughly almost 60 or just above 60 million to do that work. So obviously we continue to lobby for more funds so we can achieve more on those target. Quality improvement, 2.5 clients. We then look at clients that we're going to achieve, where that's going to assist to improve their turnover by more than 5%. Obviously, the economy is difficult, but we are committing just for about more than 5% turnover increase. We are committing to that, but we'll continue to assist thousands of clients to improve their turnover, even by percent or however they want to. But this is more specific. We are not limited to this. We'll be assisting thousands of SMMEs to improve at the divisional level, to improve their turnover. But we want to deal with things that have impact at an organizational level, at a divisional level. The organization deal with everything that we'll be doing. So we won't isolate a 5% increase of assisting all clients, but at an organizational level, we want to see if we're making the big impact that we're supposed to be making, because we're going for impact now other than just the numbers. Then the jobs, we're looking at 4,000, and job sustains, we're looking at 6,000. As I said, we measure jobs, we do interventions And then SMEs are able to create jobs through our interventions. So there is no direct initial when it starts. The way we're saying we're putting 1,000 rand on training, by virtue of that, then you must give us 3 jobs. So we're saying we train SMEs, we enable them then to grow their entities. In doing so, then they create jobs. So that's how it works in our space. And obviously sustain jobs, and that is becoming more important for the organization. And scale up, this is what we're talking about, high scale up projects where we'll stand and sit and say, actually, we've taken this company from a 5 million rand turnover to a 50 million rand turnover to 100 million rand turnover, while we're helping everyone to grow, but we must have clients that we are saying that will look back and say, these ones, there is the impact that we are looking for. Mentorship, training, and coaching, we're targeting 20,000 SMMEs. That is the work that we're doing with the SITAs in the current financial year. It becomes very important that we reach out to those numbers. This is the breakdown of that per quarter. I will not drill into it much, but this is how we break it down on a quarterly basis. And then the last one on the program is program 3, which is administration, where we're discussing issues of, this is more internal, improving and implementing innovative ideas as we improve the digital space within the organization. The next one is us entrenching a performance-driven culture. You know, we can't overemphasize the performance-driven culture of the organization. So we need to change the culture so that, as I was saying before, that we need to make sure that we've got employees who are performing at above the expectation, which is the 3. So we're performing at 3 and above in terms of meeting the, because if we do so, then we'll be able to achieve our goals and our mandate in reaching out to the SMMEs. Employee satisfaction becomes one of the things that we deal with within the space, but also the customer satisfaction, I've spoken about it, that we need our customers to be satisfied. So as we're changing things and training our employees on how to manage and how to offer services to clients, that becomes key. And then the vacancy rate, we want to keep it. This year we are poised to achieve about 7% instead of the target of 10. We want to also just make sure that we keep it within the target so that we have employees all the time to assist us to meet our targets. And this is the quarterly breakdown of that, Chair. And then the next one is the resource allocation. In the current financial year, we're going to have about 902 million for all these services, and broken down into various sources of the income, where we're getting money from the department in terms of us being able to run, which is separated between the normal, which is our normal enterprise development, and the STP, which is the Seda technology program, where we see 159 million coming into the STP budget to support the SMEs in that space, as well as the capacity building program receiving 16.2 million, and or again the incubator, which is more on the digital hubs, receiving 62 or being allocated 62 million of that. We've got external earnings, which is more the 12 million coming from the interest we earn and other smaller funds. And then we then budgeted that there will be 6 million as we continue to lobby funds, but we'll continue to lobby more funds. This is just what we know is coming now, but we'll continue to lobby more funds from other external sources, and obviously we'll utilize that money through and Seda Seda's model is more of utilizing employees to offer the services. Our business advisors are at the forefront in the branches. Our analysts are at the forefront at our branches. So those are the people that we then pay to make sure that the clients get the services that they need, other than us having the service providers. And also then we've got money allocated to your EDD, which are the provinces under the goods and services, where then we put money into the provinces for us to do more work and to also get service providers. So you will see that then that we're expecting to spend what we're going to receive at 902.2 million. This is our balance sheet, Chair. We don't have a big balance sheet because we're a service-driven organization. We are not a balance sheet organization in terms of us having a big balance sheet or balance sheet-driven organization, but we are able to offer our services through the employees, which are our biggest asset. So then you won't see that here, obviously, in the balance sheet. It would be worrying if we were to have a big balance sheet, because then it means we are spending money on assets other than spending money on the SMMEs directly. So our balance sheet then, total assets will be sitting at the end of the year at 156 million. And obviously we've got the liabilities as well corresponding, which will be sitting at that level. But we're not a big balance sheet entity, and we're not supposed to be as we provide a service. This is our cash flow that talks about our cash from operating activities and cash from investing activities. It just summarizes what we will be dealing with and how we'll be using our money or the money that will be allocated in the current financial year. But obviously, if there are questions, the CFO is on standby to take the questions if there are questions later on. And this is the continuation of how we're going to be spending money. For example, on computer equipment, we're budgeting 20.7 million on that. Fashion equipment, we're not going to be big on that. We will be spending 2 million. I would also like to highlight that we are working, Chair, with Seda, with eThekwini municipality in Durban to bring Seda back to town for us to have our office back where there used to be Seda at eThekwini, so that then we continue to be accessible. They had committed to give us the property, the building at a free rental. That was our discussion with them, so then we can have our office there that will service the whole region. But that comes with a lot of satellite offices in Hammersdale, Wamashu, and so forth. That will help us to expand our network and have then graduates coming in to man those offices. And that becomes key. Obviously, with the work that we'll be doing for KZN and Eastern Cape, we're also looking to hire graduates to assist with the application forms. We've indicated to HR that they need to get us that quickly, so that then by the 25th, at least in our branches, there are people that will be able to assist with the forms and everything in terms of assisting the clients. But also, we're looking at our network in the whole country to employ graduates. So far, we had indicated that we need at least to have 2 graduates per branch, which will make sure that we have the biggest one. When we hire one of the biggest, we are hiring the biggest numbers in terms of graduates within the portfolio. Also making sure that we've got IT graduates and also marketing and digital graduates. As we continue to move forward as an organization, we need to develop our own skills so that we're able to absorb these skills in the near future. Especially in the digital space, we need, and in the marketing space, we need fresh bloods, fresh minds that will come in and change the status quo and enable us then to propel forward and to advertise and market the work that we do, because we do a lot of work, but people don't know about the work that we do. So based on that, then we need those young minds that whose brains work differently, and also on the IT space. So we need to absorb quite a big number of graduates in the current financial year, while we're creating jobs within this country. Chair, the next one is just our provincial split where we sit in terms of budget. The next one is more on the audited risk. I will not go into details, but we have the risk identified and the mitigating factors. These are aligned with what I was covering under the external environment and internal environment. Chair, with that, I thank you and thanks for the time that we've been given to present our work, but we continue to move forward and to be an agile organization as Seda. We've dealt with problems in the previous year. I think now it's time for us to move forward and to propel this organization to new heights. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, members.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, Chairperson of the board, with your team. I believe it was a long presentation, but it was clear. I'm happy that you are trying to close the gaps, more especially on the establishment of branches, because as I have indicated, our worrying factor is the way the people are being assisted. So if you come up with some strategies like you are doing, more special on the collaboration between Seda and SIFA, it gives us hope that we'll achieve our goals. But let me allow members to collaborate with the presentation. King, you will assist me to identify hands, please. Do we have hands?
Yes, Chair. I'm still waiting for members. We've got Honorable April, the first one.
Honorable April, the stage is yours.
Chairperson.
I'm worried about you, Chairperson.
Yes.
Chairperson, it's something to step Honorable April, maybe before he can proceed. Would like to acknowledge the DM was just joined, as he has indicated that he will join later. Deputy Minister Stum has already joined the platform.
Thank you. You are welcome, Honorable Deputy Minister. Honorable April, the stage is yours.
Let me first take this opportunity to say morning to the ministers, the deputy ministers, the chairpersons, all protocols observed. One has taken good time out to listen to the presentation that has been made by the department, and I would say that on paper, the presentation looks good. It is something that has been presented before the committee to us this morning, and one would want to engage in a couple of the things that is worrisome. You know, Chairperson, when I speak here this morning, I'm not only speaking from the premise of over someone that has got the responsibility to do oversight, but also as a previous businessman who's got knowledge and experience of how a business works. So my questioning this morning is going to be very important, in that also during this time of oversight, in my constituency, I was visited by 3 small business owners who I personally took to the offices of SIFA and Seda in Kempton Park. And I called on the chairperson, and I've called on the management in Gauteng. And I told them that the experience of a small business person in Gauteng, in the specific SIFA office, has been terrible, to the point where we had waited for 1.5 hours to just be seen. And when I hear the presentations here of how investment is being made into the staff to ensure delivery of this critical work that they are doing, one starts to wonder where those staff are working, because my experience would have been something that is completely different, as I have said, Chairperson. But one is not going to tell us.
We shouldn't be in a situation where we have things like that happening. But the question is, how much petty cash do we have? And maybe is that the reason that one of the motivating factors? So maybe just to understand the issue, just to go to the root cause of the issue, just to understand where our risks. Are we carrying too much petty cash that then becomes a risk factor? What are the issues? What's this about? I mean, what were people about? Was it documents? Are there any documents in particular?
Protect me, Chairperson.
Where's King? King.
Any thoughts on that? Nothing has come into light.
No, not really, Chairperson. I wouldn't be in a position to understand CFO's office in terms
Kick
of
that person out, King.
Is stored there or how much of the petty cash is stored there. I
don't think King is on anymore.
What was the intention, maybe, based on a report for this alleged break-in, because we haven't received the confirmation
that is taking place in our meeting.
Intention maybe to steal something. So as NAMC, instead of just sitting and not doing anything about the matter, since us reported an incident, we decided to.
This is unacceptable.
This is disgusting.
You're 100% right.
That was the CIFA meeting, Chair. And Chairperson, you need to address the Chair of CIFA and his board who's speaking there and just coming and opening their mic and talking to us. It means they're also not paying attention to what we are saying in this meeting. We are disrespected.
Agree, 100%, Honorable April, 100%.
I will address it. It's not right. Can you proceed, Honorable?
I'm even worried to bring the couple of things that I want to bring, because the challenge at one sense is it's clear that CIFA is busy with another meeting concurrently with the one that we're having, and makes one wonder how important is it that the oversight committee meets and get reports that impacts the kind of work that they do if we are not being taken serious by this kind of behavior. I can tell you assuredly that I know that they are not listening to what we as the portfolio committee has got to say on these very critical and important matters. Like, for instance, Chairperson.
Dear Chairperson, this is CIFA CEO. I'm here and we are not in a board meeting, and that is not us.
Okay, all right. Then I will draw from you.
And sorry, Chair, as well. This is the CFO of Seda. We are not in any meeting.
So who was talking? King, can you investigate that for us, and then we'll deal with the matter?
Madam Chair, I believe it was Sapiwe Singwa.
Okay. You will give me the information after this. We'll deal with it. Let's proceed with our program. Thank you, Honorable
Chairperson. Chairperson, let me continue without any further wasting of time. When we get this report, one would want to find out what is the percentage of Seda clients that was funded by CIFA. Now, I can tell you, Chairperson, that the percentage of Seda clients that has been supported by CIFA is almost 0%. And what does it mean for us going forward if you're saying that we are sending small businesses to Seda in order for Seda to take them through a process that would take them a couple of years to complete, and then to just at the end of the day not get any funding from CIFA? It speaks to the urgent need for the amalgamation and for the working together of these departments in order for us to see not just rhetoric or not just good things on paper, but actual tangible things that is on the table. So that is a matter of grave concern that has to be addressed immediately. You see, this thing of funding ready, the Seda makes people funding ready. Funding ready for who to fund them? Because CIFA is not funding them, and that is a very, very major impact that is out there for small businesses. Small businesses are suffering because they are only being made funding ready by Seda, but the actual funding doesn't happen. Part of the APP. My next point, part of the APP currently should assist us to show that we are heading towards the merger. We should see that structurally, even in the new committees that's going to be put together, that there is actually a concerted effort made to work towards the merger. We should see that we've got a Seda and CIFA that speaks or sings from the same hymn sheet. That is not currently the state of affairs. We would want to see that in the new structure that is coming up, or at least that is being built, that there is people that is that can on both sides speak an amalgamation process that is tangible, one that we can be taken into confidence to or have input into on how it should be happening. It is not happening currently, Chairperson. Chairperson, the next point that I also want to make is that the post-investment work.
Seda's post-investment work, we want to see it on the APP. The post-investment work is important because the investments happen, money gets being paid out by SEFA, but after that money has been paid out, we would want to see Seda doing some post-investment work, and it must be seen in the APP. I actually want us as the portfolio committee to have a proposition that proposes that 50% of the funding of SEFA budget must go to Seda clients. If we can have half of the funding that from SEFA go to Seda clients, it means now we are saying we are serious about implementation and working as a unit rather than two separate entities within an entity. That is my proposal that I think must be taken very, very serious. Chairperson, another thing that we see is that corporates have got ESD budgets for supplier developments. I want to check how is Seda using that market, and what legislation can we maybe put in place to ensure that that it can be maximized for the small business in South Africa. Let me make an example. If you look at this week, I saw that Sasol has got a enterprise development program that they are putting out. If you look at the value of that enterprise development program that Sasol is running out, has pulled out this week and said people must directly apply for that. Where is our department in this thing to maybe speak with the corporates and say to the corporates, let's work together, because it is their core business, it's their core client that Sasol is calling for. So with public partner participation, we could work together with big conglomerates and business in South Africa to ensure that our client, who is the small businesses, stand to benefit the most. I would want to find out what kind of mechanisms is in place to ensure that our people get some expression in these business ESD budgets that is out there, supplier development and so forth. Further to this, Chairperson, and maybe this is thinking big or trying pushing or punching above a person's weight level, but the JSE listed companies, those ones that are listed in South Africa, that is trading in South Africa, there must be a concerted effort done by the departments to say that let us talk to these companies that is listed in our stock exchange to see how they can come and play a role in the workings of Seda to maximize entrepreneurship development, inclusion, and participation. Because if we don't do that, Chairperson, we are too many and we have got too much needs for everyone to be getting money from the state coffers. The budgets is just not enough, but there is ways and means that this thing should be done. But we need people in Seda who understand how it works in a corporate conglomerate and how it works to access these things and have a conversation with the state as to how we are going to propel transformation at a bigger speed or at a greater speed. The implications of the implementing agents in the deals that we are making, the implications is serious. I for one, remember that there was this thing of clicks or discam or whatever. And I wanted to check with the department, how far have you gone in terms of, are we oversubscribed? Is the market oversubscribed? Are we supplying? Do we have suppliers that are ready? Are they supplying all of these big corporates with the things that we have agreed on? And lastly, we have heard the president speak about the 100 products ring fence for sole supply by small businesses and South African businesses for that matter. Where are we with regards to that? I want to see a Seda and SEFA that works together already, or at least builds a machine that is going to be able to deliver for us and for the small black child on the street, the small business person that is there in a small little caravan or shop or panel beating or tire shop or whatever, to get real kind of assistance from what is available. But we can only do that if we've got officials who's committed to the task and understand the bigger vision at hand and don't interrupt meetings and take us serious enough when we are sitting here. We are not wasting time. We are sitting, we are listening to presentations, but presentations alone is not enough. Presentations don't put bread on the table. Presentations don't change the lives and the livelihoods of our people. Presentations are good, and I give credit to those who put their effort and their time in to explain it. But I want to hear about tangible things that we can go back. We as portfolio committee members have so many times asked on different occasions, here is the person, Can the person be assessed that no report backs, no person, I can't point you one person that has been assessed by coming through my PCO. And that for me is a pain sore. It is something that I know that not single one of the portfolio committee members can point me to say that this is what has been delivered by this department that we are doing oversight over. And with those words, I know it sounds flammable, but I'm really passionate about seeing change more than words. I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable April. Next. Who's the next hand, King?
It's Honorable Matulelo.
Okay. Honorable Matulelo, over to you. Honorable Matulelo. Is he still on the platform?
I think it seems as if
she has disappeared.
She has been kicked out here. I think the network, because I also experienced this network thing here. So far, she's not appearing in the list, Chair. Maybe we can check the other member, and I haven't seen any member who's raised a hand.
Okay. Is the whip still in, Honorable Jacobs? Is Honorable Jacobs still in?
No. No, Chair, I don't see him here.
Okay, because he said he will join the delegation to the Western Cape. I believe he's gone. In the absence of any other members, I would like the department to respond to those questions, inputs. Dr. Ndlovu, with your team, please.
Chair, if I may, I'm not sure if because the chair was struggling with the network. So,
is Mr. Mbata?
Yes, I can. Yes, Mr. Mbata, I can respond.
Yes, respond.
Okay. On the
oh, yeah, back.
Okay. I'm back. Sorry, CE, to interject while you started, and thank you for coming through. Thanks for the questions, Chair and members. I wanted to just respond on Honorable April, because some of the matters that he is raising are those ones that we have also taken very closely to us as a board. On CIFA members, on CIFA and CIFA and Seda, and getting entrepreneurs ready to get funding. Members will remember, they will recall that it's something that we have been talking to almost at all our sessions today, to say that we have moved closer. I mean, certainly when we started our tenure as the board, and the tenure is ending, the way the two boards used to work and the way the boards are working together now, it's very, very different. If we also look at the CEOs as well, how they work together when you compare to 3 years ago when we started, is very different. When you look at our executive teams as well, how they used to start when we started as a board and how they work now, members will see that indeed we have moved from where we were to where we are right now. And the reason that movement has happened, the movement has happened because we want the entrepreneurs that have been helped by Seda to access the funding that is there by SEFA, because we know that with SEFA we have more control as opposed to other funders outside the public sector in particular, who have their own stringent requirements of what they want. What we have done as well, we are reporting on the numbers of people who've been made ready to access funding and who have accessed the funds at SEFA, and that kind of reporting we can give to members. In addition, what we do when we get the report from SEFA on why the people that we have made ready are still not ready to get the funding, we work hand in hand with those entrepreneurs to make sure that they do receive funding, whether it's the funding that they've requested immediately or the future funding, they get that. So we do that track record, and I think both the CEs of both SEFA and Seda can talk more on those ones and provide the numbers for the members to show that, to just give a bit of comfort that we have moved. We do understand, yes, we can move and work faster on those items, and they will talk on some of the activities that we've worked on to ensure that we fast track that and make more 50% and work towards the 50% that Honorable April is talking about. So they will just provide that information. On the issues of partnerships and collaborations, we have had road shows, as the Honorable April would know, and other members. We've had road shows that we've had with the ministers as well as with the minister, as well as prior to the ministers. There've been road shows that the different board members have also undertaken. With the new minister coming in, what we have done, we have collaborated so that we have one road show that talks to both SEFA and Seda and not separately. And the minister has spoken previously about the benefits that we are getting. It has been reported widely on the media, and we are working towards, as I said earlier, ensuring that we are responsive and we are relevant to what our entrepreneurs are needing out there. CE will also talk to the post-investment work, because he mentioned earlier how we've restructured our service offering to ensure that we are providing relevant services that is needed prior funding, post-funding as well. So he will speak to that and the changes that have been made, and that as well you will see on our APP that we have changed it so that it can be reflective of the targets that have been sent. There are numerous partners, some JSE listed, some not listed, but quite significant out there in the market. I can talk of the work. Last time we spoke to the members about the trip to Saudi Arabia. There's been some of the big companies were invited from South Africa who were at Saudi Arabia, where we met there and actually even worked more on how we can get some of, and we're talking millions of money that our entrepreneurs would be able to access and expand and work on the issues that they experiencing. I just wanted to give that high level response, Honorable April, to say that we do take your concerns very seriously. We have started working on it, and maybe on our reports are not very clear to show some of the, to talk to some of the concerns that you have just raised. But I will hand over to CE to maybe provide with, tangible technical information that would comfort you that we are indeed working on the things that you have raised. CE, if I can hand over to you.
Thank you, Chair. And through Chair, let me just respond to and maybe add to some of the things that the board chair has talked about. I do acknowledge the matter brought in by Honorable April in terms of the experience, and it's one of the things that has informed what we're going to do. As I was saying, that we're going to be doing training on customer centricity and delivering to services to customers, so that then we can revive the spirit, and so that then we don't have team members who are saying that, they're not available or they've gone to lunch or whatever the case may be, that they understand that customers are our number one priority and what it means to serve customers there. And definitely, with the access points that we're creating will take away the queues in some of our branches, so that then we can make sure that clients receive their service in a speedily manner. So those are the things that we'll be targeting in this quarter to make sure that we improve as an organization. And we really do appreciate the members' visits, because they also give us as much as we do our visits, but the independent visit also tells us what problems are there. So then we're able to deal with these things, and we don't deal with these things in a branch, but we deal with it in an organization as a whole. So then, because what could be happening in Kempton Park could be happening somewhere in KZN. So we don't just deal with the Kempton Park office. That's why we're dealing with this customer centricity matter as an organizational matter. So that then we improve our service delivery and service offering to SMMEs. We definitely do post-investment work. We've got that target of mentorship, training and coaching, which is more also of the post-investment work. We've got the target on the quality improvement standards. That is also in compliance. That is more also on the post-investment work. So CFA funded clients that require such. CFA, through the discussion between myself and the CEO of CFA, CFA has opened those channels. We have been busy with the SME relief clients, where we brought them into Seda. So then Seda is offering post-investment support to those clients as a portfolio. That's how we work on these services and these platforms going forward. So we're busy with that. We had a challenge in terms of the POPI Act, where that prevents the sharing of information. So we had to write to the SMMEs to give CFA to write to the SMMEs rather to give Seda access to their documents so we can assist them. We're moving away from that as a portfolio, because in what we're doing now, given the emergence of POPI, is that then clients, before they get funding, they agree that the information will be shared with the Seda for further assistance, and that has been happening, which makes it easy then for Seda to support CFA funded clients. And that has been my conversation. That's what we started last year with Mr. Machamba, the CEO of CFA. It makes it easy to work. We have been engaging, and we're able then to do work together. As I was saying, even the issue of service providers to SMMEs, we work together to develop that common database to make sure that there's standardization across that. So we've got some trapped clients that we've been assisting for pre and post. We've got some SME relief funds, CFA funded clients that we've been assisting with all these pre and post activities. And we've got clients then that have been funded by CFA, even on the trap side, that we've assisted pre and referred to CFA. We've got clients on the business recovery program that we assisted after the looting, that then went and got funding from CFA. We are busy now with the Youth Challenge Fund, where the clients that applied, or the SMEs that applied to or at CFA that didn't meet the requirements, they've been referred to Seda for Seda to assist them to meet the requirements. So we're working on that. There's quite a big number of those clients, and then we'll be referring them back to CFA so that they can get the funding. So that collaboration is working quite very well. We're busy developing systems that will enable that work to be seamless, so that then we're able to do that work seamlessly. The CEO of CFA is here. If he can attest to that and add if he's got anything to add just on that point. We then have the issues of the private sector and the ESD is of importance to us. We for example, had a dialogue with the private sector in March, on the 25th of March, where we invited different private sector partners to have a dialogue with us, so that then we're able to make sure that our SMEs access what they offer. So we did that in March. We've got another one taking place in May on the ecosystem and that participating in that ecosystem and the dialogue. And some of them, I think, also was being led by ABSA. We then also, on the 22nd of April, we will have a dialogue with the community of practice, where we are dealing through the ESD program, where we are dealing with also a roundtable discussion with the private sector on ESD. So that will then culminate into an ESD conference that we'll be holding and making sure then that this work moves forward, because we believe that we are the ecosystem enabler, and hence we are doing all these things. So then when the ESD conference takes place, we're able to have input and shape the ESD in this country and how then SMEs access these things. And so by the time they are announced, we're part of that, and our SMEs are able to benefit. We are working with SASOL, for example, in Secunda. We are working with SASOL. They provided funding for containers for 20 clients that will be benefiting from that through getting those containers. So we have a strong partnership with SASOL and we'll continue to engage them. So those clients would then benefit from that, and they're engaging us as well. Pick and Pay obviously more on the Western Cape, but inland as well, we're working with them. We've got work that we're doing. We're doing work with SAPI in Mpumalanga. You know, we've got SMMEs that we are supporting there that are accessing the value chains that we've developed to take advantage of the opportunities, and we've trained them. We've made sure that their services are of the right standard and quality. We are working with Anglo Platinum in Limpopo. We will be driving a big ESD program with them and through one of actually CIFA-funded partners, so that collaboration continues. And also we're working with Columbus. I'm just mentioning a few that we're working with to show that we are in the space. We started conversations through the leadership of the minister with the JSE CEO that is looking at the SMME element. We had a meeting 2 weeks ago with them. The team is working on collaboration with that unit of the JSE to make sure that then the SMMEs get the relevant or the required support on the JSE ESD program, and also the JSE platform to access even more funding and more markets. So that is work that we are doing. We've already had meetings and the teams are finalizing the agreement, so that then we get into that space where we're able to develop businesses and to scale them up and so they become bigger businesses. So that work is currently underway. So we are working with the private sector, and will continue through these dialogues and the ESD conference that will take place later, engage and make sure that those opportunities are being accessed. We're definitely continuing with the clicks. There are meetings that are taking place monthly. Our Mr. Colin Leshaw, who is an executive here, acting executive STP, attends those meetings with clicks to make sure then that we continue to add more of our SMMEs. Yes, these things, they take time because SMMEs needs to be ready to supply. So from a compliance, from packaging, from quality products, everything, we're working with clients so that they're able to supply to that market and the discount markets and the likes. So that is the work that we've been doing. I think I've covered almost everything, Chair. And we thank you for the opportunity. And as I said, I'm not sure if the CIFA CEO would like to add. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mbata. And I believe members are satisfied. I'm also satisfied, most especially we've got hope on the issue of the merging, which will assist us a lot of things, because once the two are in one institution, we will be able to handle a lot of things, because our crisis really is the issue of job creation. Minister, or DG, then the minister, if ever there is any which you would like to say.
Chairperson?
Yes?
Chairperson, it's King. Honorable Baba Matulela had been kicked out by the system, so she's back. She requests that she be noted or given a chance.
Okay, Honorable Matulela, can you present?
Thank you, Chair. I'm audible on that side. On your side.
You are audible, Honorable Ma'am.
Thank you very much, Chair. And the police committee. Hey, I was so very happy, must say, in open the system. Really, we need to go back. We need to go back to Parliament. This thing is disadvantaging us. Sabotaging us. Okay. Now, Chair, without wasting time, as in Golweni Township, within the South Coast in Potchefstroom, where we did not attend during the oversight within Durban, we did not attend, we did not go on that side of South Coast at all, where they were also victims of unrest during our oversight. There are 7 small businesses who were burned into ashes. Some of them, they were having saloons. Some of them, they were having their containers there. But during the unrest, their businesses were burned into ashes. KZN is paying in particular, where we were there ourselves in Gauteng. People are calling, they are inboxing, and further they write to and visit EFF offices to lodge our complaints about empty promises of the relief fund that they didn't receive at all up until today. Chairperson, now we are in a very worst situation of a devastating disaster. And it hit very hard here in KZN. Hey, it's very painful, serious, because these entities, Seda and SIFA as well, can't be trusted anymore. Our people are on their own under this department. Serious. This is very hurting. You know, I was very happy when this system is kicking me out, because I'm very concerned about these entities. We did never deliver as we promised. More especially these small businesses that I'm mentioning, we did never even go and visit them. And now people are victims again. On top of being victims, they are victims again. And our people are on their own. They are on their own under this department. Serious. I go control to this current government. And I go want to enter my waiting is as a Wednesday. Ayiko. If the truly again go get so put it sensitive in oversight, visiting same people, same problem. And now there are even some of them, they are dead. If I can mention 2 of the small businesses, people, they are dead. Without promises, we were there ourselves physically. And I'm just so happy about this thing, because we are also there attending. We are the part of this portfolio committee. People are asking us questions. We are being implicated for no good reason, because we are there as members of the portfolio committee, and we don't have power to deliver to our people what was promised by the department itself. We don't have the capacity to go and do what you promised. That's my concern and my input, and I'm so happy that we are going again to give these entities money. It is going to be given by government to go and rescue our people, and it will be the same thing, because even the last monies that were promised and everything that was promised to people, they did never receive anything. Shame on you, ruling party. Shame on you. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm now inviting the The DG, maybe there is something which you want to say because you're in our midst.
Can I call a point of order first, Chair?
What is your point of order?
I think Honorable Babalwa is out of order coming to scream here, shame on you, ruling party. She's a person that never attends meetings anyway and make excuses as if she's not getting signal. She must stop that thing.
Cannot just raise a point of order without telling us you're rising on which point of order. You can't just say point of order
Honorable Matulela, I haven't given you the platform.
That's failing our people. You can't say that.
Hello? Can you listen to the chairperson? I'm chairing this meeting. Honorable April, I have listened to her. My expectations from you, honorable members, all of us, regardless of which party you are in, is to assist and guide the department while doing oversight on what they have presented. If ever there is anything which we would like to say, we'll do it in our portfolio committee. But for now, I'm expecting us to critique, analyze the performance plan by the department so that we pronounce ourselves. So what is it that we want them to improve? What is it that we applaud them? So that's my expectation. So I've been consistent in doing so that this is not a campaign, it's an honorable members portfolio committee where we are representing, of course, our party. So I will request the department to respond on some of the things. And as I've indicated that we believe there will be a light in a tunnel. The merging with its complications will assist us because our role is to do oversight, and we believe the role of the department too is to make sure that we reach our target, because the crisis we're in now is the issue of delays where our people, those bottlenecks are blocking them to grow. And we appreciate the training, the incubators, as well as the appointment of graduates, because it's also a crisis that the department is not visible. And the model of service delivery model, which is going district service delivery model, which is going to assist us to relate with other spheres of government, because for now at the national level we're working in silo, province in silo, and the most difficult issue is that this department is not located at provincial level. Here it is there on the issue of Mega, Lipompo, what, but if we can try to assist them and all the departments come on board to make sure that this dream is being actualized, I think we will get there. So I am now inviting the department just to respond to certain things.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, honorable members, for the opportunity. Just a quick one because of the just to say we are very committed so that we expand support Seda.
Do we have two gadgets, DG? There is a lot of noise. We can't hear you properly. Are you using only one gadget? If there is another one open, can you please switch it off so that it can be audible?
Not I'm only using one. I'm not sure maybe connectivity. But just a quick response, Chair, is that the CEO indicated for the first time in our capex for Seda we are for maybe I need to
King, maybe it's only my gadget which has got a problem. I can't hear the DG properly.
Yes, Chairperson, is background, the background or the network, but is his background is making it not. There's a noise at his background.
Lot of noise. Hello, come again. Try. Let's hear you.
Yes, Chair. I was saying the CEO did indicate that for the first time we'll be having a target on the expansion of service delivery points. We're targeting 8 for this year, which is a very, very big number. So we are doing our level best, given the resources that we have, to reach as many small businesses as possible. The partnerships with the municipalities are very critical. Ensuring that we reach those areas that are difficult to reach. So we continue to improve on that. And so in the cabinet statement that was issued, the cabinet, the one indication in terms of the way forward, in terms of the incorporation of CDBA as well as Seda, it was clear there that the minister would proceed with the appointment of internal boards to drive the process, and there is an intention from the minister's side to ensure that the board members who are part of this, they both have, for both boards, there is an understanding that the two entities are moving towards becoming one entity. So there is, it's very clear from our side, Chair, that we need to address the collaboration, the closer collaboration between the two entities, so that whatever business high financial support, because it's the main objective of the two entities. So we are clear in terms of what are the challenges that all these provincial also have assisted us with money, exactly what we need to do going forward, and we will be doing exactly the advice and the conference was here by the members. They are correct. We have to always continuously improve in terms of our progress. Thank you.
Thank you, although you were not clear, but we can hear you a little bit. Honorable Minister. Honorable DM. Deputy Minister.
Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you very much. And my apologies. I'm not sure whether the minister is still here.
She's not
okay.
in. She's having a meeting with the president right now.
Okay, thanks, Chair. We have listened, Chair, to the comments by the members of the portfolio committees. And I think, as the DG would have been trying to say, that on the areas that are pointed out, we are taking them. And our intention is to work on those areas and improve more, even on the work that has got to be done. And I understand the presentation by the CEO and the chair of Seda. We definitely are going to go back and go to work. And surely when we come back, there will have to be improvements on the range of areas that are being raised by the portfolio committee, whose role we take seriously and indeed want to move on, making the changes that must be made. But I thank you, Chair, for giving me the chance to make a comment. Thanks very much, Chair.
Thank you, DM. Braking, can we go back to our agenda quickly? Can you take us through? Pardon? Can you take us through?
Now I was asking whether we can. Now, Chairperson, we are on the consideration and adoption of committee minutes.
Take us through, please.
Okay, these are the minutes.
We're doing correction, page 1. Page 2. Next page. Next page. Thank you, honorable members. Can I have a mover for the adoption of the minutes as the true reflection of what transpired? Honorable members, can we adopt the minutes, please? Chairperson. Yes, Honorable.
I move for the adoption of the minutes.
Thank you. Any seconder, honorable members? Honorable Kruger, second.
Madam Chair, I don't think I was at that meeting, or I was excused early. Sorry. Otherwise, I would have.
Any member which was present the whole session to second the minutes?
Good morning, Chairperson. Honorable de Villiers here. I'll second.
Thank you, Honorable de Villiers. Honorable members, we've come to the end of our meeting. Thank you so much. Let's continue reading this. Yes.
Chair?
Yes.
There's a second set of minutes.
There are 2 sets. Okay. Present,
this
please.
is the one that I've lighted now.
All right. It was on the 1st April.
This one was on the 1st April.
Okay.
Well, I think we'll have to do with them because though it was when we had an acting chairperson, Honorable Jacobs.
Yeah, I was not part of it. I can't adopt them. Let us defer them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Chair, there is a question. Maybe from Seda. They would like to understand that the portfolio committee accept the APP. So I think that's
they are right. Let me do that formally. Honorable members, can we adopt or accept the recommendation by CIFA on their performance plan? Anyone to move?
Madam Chair, I don't want to move. I think we must just note the report. Thank you.
The report has been noted. Thank you. Honorable members and our honorable ministers and our officials, thank you so much for having honored this meeting, and your participation is highly appreciated. We'll continue interacting with the departments, the 2 departments, on the issue of the merger because it's urgent. As Deputy Minister from the DPSA has indicated, I believe we'll find each other to make sure that things are moving smoothly in this department. Thank you so much. The meeting stand adjourned.
Recording stopped.
Yeah, they are right. Let me do that formally. Honorable members, can we adopt or accept the recommendation by CIFA on their performance plan? Anyone to move?
Madam Chair, I don't want to move. I think we must just note the report. Thank you.
The report has been noted. Thank you. Honorable members and our
Kunzani?
sikhona njani?
Siyaphila akhondo kuhle. Udle kakuhle kodwa noko Easter week. Udle kakuhle Easter week.
Yeah, we were right.
And